Welcome to day 3 of Rhino Bet's Cheltenham Festival preview show. My name is Tracey, and joining me is Henry Brooke, Olly Murphy, Mark Boylan, and Chris Lucky Loader to look ahead to the best of the action as well as anything else said on day 3 that the lads want to touch upon. Right, we're going to begin with the Stayers Hurdle because this feels like a race where it's going to divide opinion. People will think it's a great renewal. People will think it's a lesser good renewal. But it's going to be intriguing nonetheless. And we still don't know where some of those ahead of the market are necessarily going to end up. Because Rob, of course, seemingly have a strong hand in here because they have Tia Hoopu and Irish Point, favourite and second favourite in here. But Chris, we talked about this earlier on with Irish Point. Is he going to be rerouted to the champion hurdle? Because from an anti-post perspective, I really hope he isn't.
Yeah, it's kind of a million-dollar question for this race, isn't it? I think the thing with the Stayers division, especially over the last, say, 2 or 3 years, we're always looking at the up-and-coming horses, saying the likes of Dashel Drescher, Paisley Park, they've had their day. But to be fair to the likes of Paisley and Dashel, they still, especially on this side of the Irish Sea anyway, they still throw their hat into the ring. And, of course, Side de Burley last year won the race at a big old price, didn't he? So it's a bit of a hard division to always get a grasp of, really. I think, obviously, the market's centred this year with the likes of Tiupu, Irish Point, Crambo. They're all 6 or 7-year-olds. So it's very much favouring the younger horses. But Tiupu last year was kind of the talking horse going into the race. Ran okay, but he just didn't go through with his effort, did he? He'd be a horse that I probably would want to take on again. Crambo is a horse that I do like. He won well last time out in the long walk hurdle at Ascot. But again, I don't know if Cheltenham's going to be his track. I like horses that have been there and done it. And I don't have a particular strong fancy this year for the Stayers. But I think the likes of Paisley, he probably won't win, but he might be good enough each way at 16-1. I just probably side with horses like that you know are probably going to run their race. Probably might not be good enough to win. You're going to get the likes of Tiupu, Irish Point, Rambo. If they all turn up, you'd probably, from a racing point of view, would love to see those horses kind of make a name for themselves in the division. But at the moment, I think I'm going to stay with the tried and tested, the old boys. I'm probably about the likes of Paisley and Dashel if they turn up. But I don't have a particularly strong opinion on the race. I just thought that maybe some of the younger horses, I couldn't trust them to go through with it, if that makes sense, with them being towards the top of the market.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Like you say, those young legs. I mean, you've got Crambo, who's meant to be the young pretender coming through, but he's never even run at Cheltenham before. And the Cheltenham factor is so significant when you're taking on proper, proven, older performers. Now, Paisley Park is 16-1 with Rhino Bet. Dashel Drescher 28-1. So, Olly, I mean, the old boys versus the young pretenders. We've been saying it for years and years about this division. We're waiting for one of these younger horses to come up and to really prove themselves amongst the older boys. But we haven't really had that of yet. So, I mean, there's an opportunity here from a betting angle.
Yeah. I don't know where to start this race. I think it's the most crazy race of the week. I think Gordon's been so ballsy with Tiupu, not running him for so long and aiming the race. He's always going to come here very fresh. I personally believe Irish Point will run in this race. I just think it's an extremely odd thing to do, having planned to run in a Stayers hurdle on the big outside track to go and run on the champion hurdle on the inside track, just through a horse potentially not running. If he runs in a champion hurdle, into absolutely no chance. So I hope he runs in this race. I got a very good horse home called Strong Leader. I actually half part of me wishes I supplemented him for the race. I thought he should have won the cleave. He kicked hurdles out the ground, didn't come down the hill, and came home like a train. But I don't believe that the track suits. I don't think he comes down the hill. I don't think he has on undulation. So he's going to go straight to entry for the 3 mile grade one there on a flat track. But yeah, going back to this race, I think Gordon's obviously set Tiupu up for the race. He's become here a fresh horse, but it would not surprise me at all if something daft like Monkfish or something along the lines of that wouldn't want to stay as headless. I just think it's an absolute crazy race, and I think it's going to have a banana skin.
It is insane, isn't it? Also, I'm so pleased you mentioned Strong Leader. He's still, I think, the best looking horse I've ever seen. He's gorgeous, isn't he? Is he as gorgeous, as you see him every day in the flesh? So I remember, I think it was in the Supreme, I was leading up behind him thinking, what is that? He's a gorgeous horse. So good to hear that he's going to Aintree.
Yeah, no, he's a big, good-looking imposing horse, and he had a very good run the last day. I just don't think he handles the undulations of Cheltenham. So fingers crossed he'll go entry with a blue 20 chance.
Exactly. There you go. We're offering you a bit of entry insight as well as Cheltenham Festival preview on this one. Henry, Stayers Hurdle. Ollie just said it. It's mental, this one. What do you do?
It is, and I'm going to put up a real big one here, Kate. So get ready, because it'll most of you be a massive disappointment. But Botox Hat of Gary Moore's horse. He beat an improving start of Ollie's the last day bunch. He's a horse that just loves soft ground. I think if we're going to get the weather that we forecast, and they're saying Cheltenham's going to be the first day, it's going to be on soft ground anyhow. So if he ends up getting any ridden, he's won heavy, he's won on the soft. He was very impressive the last day. So yeah, he's one that I'm going to put up at 33-1, just each way value at that.
Nice big price there as well. Yeah, also was a winner last time out. Certainly proved over trip, and if the conditions are soft, that will definitely suit him. Mark, again, throw the same question to you. Mental race. I mean, old boys, young boys, pretenders. Like, what are we doing with this race?
Like, if people can't, I'm working on the basis prior that Irish Point might go to the champion, Kate, and I'm sorry to say that, I don't want to be upsetting you. But I don't know. Why would they run the two of them here? Maybe it would make some sense, but to me it was a grade 1 in name only last time with some of the horses, the stage of the career they're at. I really like Irish Point, but I just don't even know if he's definitely proven at the trip in an end-to-end gallop. But I just think Teahupoo, if he's ever going to win a Stayers, is this year. Like Paisley Park and Dasher Drasher, really likeable horses, 100%. They won the Stayers, you'd be delighted for connections. But they're old enough there to get served at the bar like at Cheltenham. I just can't. If those horses are good enough to win a Stayers hurdle at this stage of their career, I think it's a real bad sign for the state of the staying division in general. I agree with Ollie. It's really with Gordon to do this with a horse disability. When you think of small field grade ones we've had through the year, to bypass it all and just say we're going to circle the calendar for one date. The phrase straight to Cheltenham is not one that anyone likes to hear from a punter's point of view, but I think it's probably the right thing to try with a horse like this. Last season, just in this race, I very rarely have a complaint about Davy Russell at Cheltenham, but he got this one wrong, I think. Should have won the Stayers, I thought, last year. Just met trouble on multiple occasions, and I hope it's a chance for him to get redemption. He's only 7 as well. It's not like he's over the hill, but I wouldn't put anyone off a big price each way, but just Teahupoo, if it's ever going to be his year, I think it's this year.
Yeah, if you've tried to keep the faith of this horse, that connections have obviously eulogised about him and his ability and targeting this race, and you are going to be hoping that this is the one for him. I just hope the Irish Point goes. I feel like Robbie Power's almost been trying to push it himself then, from what I've heard, representing Rob Court. But yeah, hopefully then Gordon will run the pair of those two horses in the Stayers. It's going to be a cracking watch, isn't it? As might be the Ryanair then. Again, we talk about tricky contests. We don't really know exactly where we are then with it. The Ryanair is definitely one of those. A race that, of course, has become wide open now. The current favourite, El Fabiolo, he's champion. Chase bound, of course. Banbridge, he may not run if the forecast is correct then with the softer ground. So, I mean, Ollie, this is another race here then with the Ryanair where we've just got probably more questions than we can really draw conclusions of at present. So I didn't really know where to start with this one.
Hey, bear me 1 second. My phone, the betting's just gone down on my phone. Do I just go to one of the lads and come back to me?
Yeah, for sure. We can do that happily. Right, Mark, your hospital pass to you then on the Ryanair. Ollie managed to do this one beautifully.
Yeah, he's picked the right race, hasn't he? To try.
Yeah, definitely, deliberately so.
Yeah. And do whatever you need to do, Ollie. Yeah. No, actually, I actually be strong enough here that we'll take on Banbridge on the ground. Really nice horse, really likeable horse, Cheltenham Festival winner. But I go back to entry last season, and I think, how good is that form really for grade 1 form? St. Roy is up his backside, and Visionarian isn't far away. I'd be afraid to think what sort of price those two horses would be in a Ryanair for all they did beat them. I just think, the Brownhead Camper sweet on Invial, you can't get away from that. And he's a funny horse in the sense that when the market comes for him, he generally runs massive. And when the market says the opposite, you can take the hint as well. But I think there could be value here with a couple of prices when you are trying to take on a favourite. Phil Dore, I know he hit the headlines with big purchase price, but his runs this season, he's bumped into two horses who are going to be odds on for Cheltenham, El Fabiolo and Dino Blue. Two cracking runs. You're getting a double figure price about him. I think this trip is exactly what he wants. could see him running really big. And Capodanno as well, mentioned earlier in the context of the Cotswold Chase form. Willie has mentioned this as an option for him. A horse who, maybe he wants a little bit of better ground, but I wouldn't be so sure that it'd be an issue over this trip, because he does stay well. He does proven over further. So there are two swings for me against the field, but Banbridge is one of the favourites here that I view has been vulnerable on the ground at this anti-post stage.
Yeah, so like I say, he is definitely vulnerable on that field. Or another one then to be sporting different colours from the Colwell Construction Disperse. So I wonder if we can get any sort of multiples on horses that were previously owned by them, and how they're going to go on to fare at the Cheltenham Festival. But he is another one who's going to be sporting the Rob Core colours. So yeah, they've got a strong hand. I mean, Ollie, to be fair, even with the betting for this race, I don't know if it gives you that much guidance or not, to be honest. It's just, again, it's another mad one.
I was going to say, it's very similar to the stayers. You could probably make a case for 6 or 8 horses and a few horses at double figure prices. Stage Star, obviously, was no better man than Paul Nicholls, but comes here off the back of a extremely disappointing run. But when he's good, he's very good. Obviously, likes the place in March, and obviously second from last run, he'd probably be favourite for the race, as Harry Cobden said. But yeah, it's wide open. Obviously, Banbridge it's well documented now that he wouldn't want very soft ground. Capodanno's coming back in trip, so I'd imagine he'll be ridden very positively over 2-5. And listen, if he was ridden positively and got in a good rhythm now, he could just outstay this one.
Yeah, then he could well outstay. And like I say, it's always a nice angle, really, to side with a horse that's got that extra bit of stamina. Chris, I mean, Boylan, he's still up there towards the head of betting, but I feel like I haven't heard many people discussing him for this race or really wanting to side with him. But away from him even, who did you fancy?
Yeah, the one that I'm struggling to work out why he's such a big price is Hitman for Paul Nicholls. I thought he ran an absolute blinder last time out in the Denman Chase behind Shishkin. If you go back and watch the race, you're thinking, God, he's travelling really well. I just think he's a horse that's probably never quite been as effective over 3 miles. We know that Paul Nicholls has always held him in high regard, but he ran an absolute blinder in the race last year to finish behind Boylan. Paul Nicholls said this season, when he came out for his first run back on trials day, that he would massively improve for the run, and he definitely did. And I just couldn't see why he was such a bigger price considering his run on last year. I mean, if this is ever going to be his day, he has disappointed many times in his career when he looked like he could be the next big thing from Ditchy. But I can't get why he's a really big, like 20, 21 plus kind of figure. I think he should be half his price. I really do. I thought that was a good run. The Denman Chase, like I say, behind Shishkin, the form's worked out okay. Does he know was in that race? He won yesterday at Doncaster. Sam Brown as well, coming good form from winning the Veterans Final at Warwick, and he didn't run too badly on his next start for big weight at Kempton. I just didn't think it was actually a bad race. It's one of those races that just maybe slipped under the radar. And I mean, the likes of Banbridge is very ground dependent. I think you could definitely do worse and take one at a big swing. And for me, that's going to be Hitman. I would give Fugitive a mention as well. Loves it round Cheltenham. If the ground is going to be soft, he'll like it. Maybe might find 1 or 2 too good, but he would definitely be one on my shortlist. But probably Hitman at this stage. I'm thinking, why is he such a big price? So yeah, I'm going to go with him.
Yeah. Do you think it's because people don't really trust him to go through with his effort? The fact that now people are almost dismissive of him, which pushes him out that few points bigger. But you're not really talking necessarily about just a win-only bet at that price.
Yeah. It could be the fact that, like, he's had quite a few chances in the past in some big races, and he's just never quite gone through with it. But then probably when people aren't expecting him to run well, he turns up. He's one of those kind of horses, I think. You think, I'll back him next time, and then he probably disappoints. I'm probably on that bandwagon now. He's probably going to disappoint in the Ryanair, but he's definitely a horse that I think if he ran up to last year's form, he would be right in there with a chance. Maybe not be good enough to win, but other prices each way, I think he's a good each way bet.
Yeah, he very much lives up to his name, doesn't he? Yeah, he turns up when you don't expect him to. So, yeah, Hitman then, a nice price, about 16 to 1 with Rhino, but Fugitive also the same price then for a mention as well for Chris. Henry, Ryanair, question marks all over the shop. Who wins it?
It is, Kate. I think it's one of the weakest Ryanairs we've had for a long time. Looking at it, there's a couple of has-beens in there. Question marks about them. I do know that I was next to Harry Cobden the other day, and we were talking about Stage Star, and he was telling me that, like, he's had 2 months since his last run, and he's literally a different horse. So obviously, like I think Harry's a great judge as well. So he's very bullish. He thinks it's his best chance at Cheltenham. So he'd have to kind of add up for that in this kind of race. We know he likes Cheltenham in March. He is a quirky character as well, but if you catch him on a good day, he's a very good horse.
Yeah, no, he definitely is. And again, good intel there. Right, that was the Ryanair then. So whether or not we've drawn conclusions remains to be seen. But we might have more luck then in the Turners Novices Chase, of course, over 2 mile 4. Finally, the British runners. We actually have something that we could sort of shout about for now, because we've got 2 leading fancies in the betting. Grey Dawning for Dan Skelton, and then Ginny's Destiny at Paul Nicholls, who seems to be, I'd say, just about as bullish about him as he is of any of his runners then in this year's race. So, Henry, I'll go back to you then for the Turners. I mean, the Brits, are they going to win it?
There's the best chance we've got out of the whole meeting, I think. We've got some good chances in this. And like Grey Dawning, personally, I'd have liked to see him stay at 3 miles. Just think he jumps badly left, doesn't he? And he nearly, like, when he does go left, he literally will take a wing out. I just think he's most probably looking like he's better at 3 miles, but this is obviously his best option for him, they think. So with the soft ground, they're obviously banking on it being soft ground. So that, and obviously my yard, Greenhalghs, they've got Iroko in this. He's done plenty of work at home. We had a racecourse gallop the other day. He went nice. He was schooled round Haydock. John Joe was very happy with him when we got off. So hopefully they can have a good run with that as well.
I know. And how's he been since the layoff? Because, of course, we weren't really even expecting to see him at this stage of the season. So it seems to be sort of a minor miracle. We don't normally get good news like that we're going to get our horse back after such a significant injury that he previously suffered. But everything, touch wood, has been pretty swimmingly for him.
Yeah, as far as I know, every time I've been and ridden out, I've seen him going out. So, it's a start. As long as they get him ridden out, Kate, they're obviously not too bad.
No, definitely not. Okay, then, so positive vibes for Iroko. That's what plenty of people will want to be known, because, of course, again, this price, he's a horse where he's divided opinion for this race, Chris, because loads of people think that Iroko is a cracking price and he's the next best thing. People think he's a horrible price because we didn't know quite where we were with him. So a bit of intel there from Henry. But in terms of the Turners itself, who wins it?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a head scratcher, to be honest with you. Grey Dawning's obviously thrown a little bit of a spanner in the works since Dan Skelton says he's could run here now. It's probably his most likely target with the way the ground's going. And he would definitely be an interesting runner. I just really like Ginny's Destiny. I think he's very uncomplicated. He's been there. He's got the T-shirt a few times. He's a bit like Stage Star 2.0, isn't he, really? You can really... He's the solid one out of all of these, I would say. You know, he runs his race at Cheltenham and he's got a very good chance. It's not hard to really find him. Facile Vega, I think, is fascinating. If they do go here and do step him up and trip, I just think he's been crying out for the step up and trip. And I think coming to Cheltenham would probably see him in a better light. I don't know if they are going to go here, but he's one that you could definitely throw your hat into the ring with. And Gaelic Warrior, is he going to run here? Who knows what kind of horse you're going to get with him. If he's going to put it all together, obviously he doesn't really like going this way round. So I think there's definitely a few in here that, if they're on the absolute A game, could take this. But if you want to play it safe and boring, I think Ginny's Destiny will at least give you a good run for your money. Maybe one of the others could get their act together and maybe take a scout. But I like to side him that course and distance for him. I think he's going to be popped out in front and he might just be very hard to peg back.
Yeah, exactly that. Like you said, it is one of those races where, again, I feel like we've said this quite a lot, where we're just looking for that sort of solid angle of a horse where, I mean, Henry, you said that about Grey Dawning. He jumps to his left. Chris just said Gaelic Warrior, he jumps to his right. So we've got two horses, Mark, that are going to be going opposite ways over their fences. Would Ginny's Destiny just stay straight and true, go through and win this? Or who was your idea of the winner?
Just out of class query with Ginny's Destiny slightly. You know, he's very, very likeable horse, dependable, but just at this level, is he going to be vulnerable to one that just might be able to outclass him, is the query. Now, I would have maybe, hands up, I would have said stage start. Last year could have been in a similar camp, so maybe I've got to read in these wrong. I think the Irish assessment is really tricky because Facile Vega without having any steer of what might happen, I would nearly guess that they could try something different, go up to 2.5 here, and maybe Gaelic Warrior, they might come back to 2 miles of him, given he blew out last time over around this trip. So, I don't feel there's concrete evidence there with either of those horses the last time that you could say you'd nailed your colours to the mast. Them. I think Grey Dawning, if I had to pick one of the Brits, I think Grey Dawning, especially if we're going to have soft ground, having that kind of proven stamina, I wouldn't be against having it on my side. I think back to Black Hercules winning this race and being a real proper stayer. I think Chantry House won this race as well. Again, a horse very effective over further. I don't mind having that in the locker for a race like this. If you wanted a flyer at a big price, I think Zana here is overpriced at 25 to 1. Might win, but I think he'll be placed. Horse second in 4 grade ones. I think I'm correct in saying he might have been placed in 2 or 3 more. This is a horse that's knocking heads with Statemans and Honeysuckles and Charges and, running really respectable champion hurdle, Constitution Hill placed, Aintree hurdle, got within 3 or 4 lengths of him as well. I don't think there's a lot of these that you could say from the top of the market, with the exception maybe of Fatsa Vega or Gaelic Warrior. How many horses could you say would achieve that level over hurdles? I thought it was nice to see him take a step forward from the run behind Factifile at Thurdus last time. Thought he toughed it out nicely. Gordon has indicated that 2.5 miles is the direction that they're looking to go. And look at it. It wouldn't shock me. Every time he's gone to Cheltenham, he's run really, really solid. And at 25 to 1, he might just be value in a race that looks a bit murky.
And he's still only a 7-year-old. That's mad, isn't he? He has
been around forever.
Yeah, and 25 to 1 then about a horse, I say, that's proven, battle hardened, etc., etc. Maybe a way to play it then with a bit of a flyer. Ollie, so again, we've looked at the start of our recording of the Cheltenham preview then in day 1 that we've got like these little Union Jacksons that we're flying. We can fly them in this race.
I was going to say, our flag's getting a little bit bigger as we come to the 4th race on Thursday. I honestly think, Kate, I think this is a race for the British to lose, more so than the Irish to win. I think we've got a real strong hand. Grey Dawning, big chance. The ground's very soft. I'd be worried now if it was starting to dry up after 2 days and the ground only went good to soft. He can munch a fence. If he's on his head now early and gets out of rhythm now, I think he could be an ugly watch. I'm very good friends with Harry Scout and then Tom Messenger's assistant. The first day he won this year, I said he should be training for the National Chase. I thought he was absolutely made for the race. But listen, if the ground's very soft, he's a big chance. I'd be very interested to see if someone takes Ginny's Destiny on. I'd be ready to see whether he chucks his toys out the fan. He's done it all his own way 3 times, and he's got a big engine, stepping out a handicap company for the first time. But he's had an uncontested lead now the last 3 times he's run, and got a nice rhythm, and yes, he's won well and looks very progressive. But I'd be very interested now if he has to follow 1 or 2, how he operates doing that. Big risk, but I was so impressed with the Roadco. I know he's only had 1 run over fences. It's going to be a massive ask, but I thought he was very, very good at Warwick. He absolutely sleuthed him first time out. He's obviously been away, had a race course gallop, score around Haydock. If he's coming here fresh, well, I know he's got no experience, but I thought he looked very, very good now. And I'd imagine if he dropped him in one of JP's and if he smuggled into the race, I would not be surprised at all now if this guy went very close.
Oh, there you go then. So we've had the insight, we've had the backing up then with the tip for Iroko, because he is going to be fascinating to see what he's capable of in his bid to go back to Cheltenham and win another festival race. Right, any other fancies then from the other races? Of course, we've got the Pertemps, we've got the Plate Handicap Chase, Mares Novices Hurdle, Kimya. Ollie, again, I just have to go back to you first because, I mean, Itchy Beat in the Pertemps I'm fascinated by. But, of course, you've got Little Miss Dante as well, Sure Touch, all entered up then on the day. So you look as though you could be due a very busy Thursday.
Yeah, I'll have a few runners Thursday if they get in. Sure Touch will have a little each way chance. He's been very progressive. He's 2 from 4 over fences now. So, yeah, he'll have a little each way chance to the Kimmy or if he got in. Little Miss Dante came out with terrible bad ulcers, which was favourite for Grade 2 on her last start. They're going to be very, very soft for her to be taking her chance back over 2 miles. And Dear Old Itchy Feet, probably handicapped out of winning, isn't getting any younger, but still retains plenty of ability. Wasn't on a going day at all the last day at Huntingdon, but when he is on a going day, he's a horse who could run well in a big handicap. But I'd imagine there's a few that are going to have a few more pound up their sleeve.
Yeah, but again, a horse that we all know and love, and such a character and a stalwart of the game, so it's just always cracking to see him out. Henry, the Pertemps, you're going to have a bit of interest in this one. Oh, Mike.
Sorry. White Rhino, he obviously needs a few to come out. I think we need 5 or 6 to come out. He qualified nicely at Huntingdon the last day. We were pleased with that. The boys have assured me that he's come on loads for it. He wasn't just quite as good as they could get him. And he's a massive improving horse. And he's snuck in. He's going to sneak in off a low weight, which isn't ideal for me, 10-3, but I'll do it. So yeah, he's most probably looking like he's one of my best Cheltenham Festival chances that I've had so far in my career.
Yeah, really likeable horse as well. So we're hoping that those few will come out and you will be in the sauna then to sweat off the pounds. No more Chineses then for you. And if you're wondering what I mean by that, I'm currently in the Brooke household here, and Henry just ordered us a Chinese tonight. So less of that then as we build up to the festival, and hopefully White Rhino gets a run. Mark, other races, what are you interested in?
Well, one of the bankers of the week for me. Can't wait to see brighter days ahead. I have to say, the pressure of this hype train that's built in the last month or two has not been nice for someone that's been, sweet and herb since word go. It's just getting worse and worse with every passing update that comes. I'm getting more box walking here, but honest to God, the way they speak about this filly is it doesn't quite match what she's achieved, to be honest, in terms of CV. But when connections like that take such a strong view, you really have to take note. And I beautiful filly, bred to be a champion. I have to Caldwell Potter, Mighty Potter, Indiana Jones, French Dynamite. Like, what a mammy she is to be producing all those, every single one of them, proper black type horses. And I look, obviously respect Jay de Grugy, very, very smart. But you just get the impression that brighter days ahead could be something a little bit different. And in the Kim Muir, unfortunately, he's been a little bit found, but I think I know the way you're thinking. The British handicapper hasn't gone over hard on him. I kind of had it in my head that there were 2 horses there that Gavin Cromwell could win the Kim Muir with. The first 7 home in the Kim Muir last year were Irish. Gavin hit the crossbar with Stumptown. And I thought Percival Legalois was interesting, but the British handicappers hit him with 7 extra, and he already got a few pounds at home from falling at the last Dublin Racing Festival. In comparison, I know the way you're thinking was dropped a pound at home for the Dublin Racing Festival run and only got 2 more from the British handicapper. So I just think at that weight, I know the way you're thinking, who's got some classy form all the way through. I could just see him potentially being kind of an any second now type of JP horse in the Kim Muir. So they're 2 for me. I know the way you're thinking, and brighter days ahead.
Brighter days ahead. Okay, you were there. It's like, when you find like an artist and you like them, then everyone kind of jumps on the bandwagon and also thinks that they're really cool afterwards. Like, that is you now for brighter days ahead. So I can only imagine the pain you're suffering with everyone coining the Gordon Glint. Of all the phrases I didn't think were going to be coined building up to the festival, that was one. But brighter days ahead, that seems to be an association.
And I can't say that it's very original, Kate. It's like seeing Shakira at her first photo shoot. Do you know what I mean? Like, she is, from word go, she always looked top class. So, she from first day at Bumper at Gordon looked deadly to beat the boys. Then a sales Bumper at Fairyhouse, only a 4-year-old. Everything she's done so far has been really, really top drawer. I think for all that, Vice Ardennes is still very good, but in a typical year, but I think brighter days ahead of win easy. But just now, this talk is not doing my nerves any good.
No, it never does it? The hype train, especially when you were on it from its first stop as well. So Mark's feeling the pressure. Chris, have you got any pressure and post plays, or are you pretty strong on a few?
Yeah, I actually really like the Mares Novice Hurdle as a race. Even though brighter days ahead is obviously the talking horse, the buzz horse for the race, I do think the race is a little bit deeper than just her. Like, Jade de Grugy is a very worthy opponent. I think Dysel Enos can definitely give us something to think about. And also as well, Golden Ace of Jeremy Scott. Don't throw her out at all. She ran really well in bumpers last year. And then on her seasonal reappearance, she was getting a load of weight that day by the likes of Lucky Place. But the way she won that day was really good. Lucky Place went on to finish second behind Gidley Park at Cheltenham. So I don't think it was a bad line of form. She then went in again over the same course and distance under a penalty. Yes, she didn't win by far, but she won at a canter. I just think she's a horse that's going a little bit under the radar. And the British have got a good record in the Mares Novice Hurdle, because I backed the last 2 winners. You Wear It Well was my nap of the whole festival last year. She drifted like a bird. I think she opened out about 8-1 and won at 16-1. And then Love Emma won the year before. So don't write off the British in the Mares Novice Hurdle. It's a race we've won the last 2 renewals. So, yeah, Willie Mullins and Gordon Elliott, eat your heart out in that one. But, so it's So watch out for the British there. And then in the Pertemps as well, I think it's quite an intriguing renewal. The each way banker, and that has to be Mill Green. He's finished third in the race the last 2 years. He always travels up there towards the last hurdle. Doesn't always quite go through with it, but is a very likeable horse. He's probably going to be the each way banker again. And the one from a win perspective that I quite liked was Geoff Chul. Probably butchered that pronunciation of Ted Walsh's. Really liked the mare.
Gui Cull. I can't tell you what it means now in Irish, but Gui Cull before you're pulled up by Ted when you go to Cheltenham.
Yeah, Geoff Chul. I'm just butchering it anyway. She just reminds me a little bit of Mrs. Milner that won the race a couple of years ago. We know obviously mares can do it in this race. I just like the way she's been improving in those big Leopardstown handicaps. I mean, she's ran about 8-1 with some firms. I just think, yeah, she's got an obvious chance, but I just like her profile, and I wouldn't be at all surprised to see her run a big race in the Pertemps. So I think there's a few interesting angles in that. So yeah, she would be a horse I'll be keeping on side.
Yeah, thank goodness we've got Mark here for the token Irish pronunciation expert there. Gui Cool, I think we're going with.
I'm told it means tailwind when I look it up here, so.
Tailwind, that's a cool name actually, isn't it? That's a really cool name for it. Yeah, thanks for again the extra insight. We feel more culturally enriched now with Mark on the panel as well. Right, different ways to play it then, and of course some Pertemps angles as well from Chris just to round up the action on day 3. So again, thank you to the lads for all of their efforts on day 3's Rhino Bet Cheltenham Festival preview. Stay tuned though, because we have the big day itself, day 4, coming your way very soon.